Hi, I'm Michelle, and this is Diaz on Deck Travel. Today, I want to talk to you about what factors make you pick a certain cruise and how do you pick the right cruise for you. Also, I want to tell you two funny stories at the end of this video, but first, let's talk about how to pick the right cruise for you. As a travel advisor, I would ask you a few questions to find out what motivates you to do a particular cruise. So let's talk about itinerary. A lot of people do not look at the ship or the newness of it or what it has to offer. They are motivated by, I want this itinerary, I want to go to these places. And that is a great factor to consider when you're picking a cruise. Are you picking based on the price? Just remember that with price comes some sacrifices, and you may not be getting the newest, most fabulous ship or the best itinerary. Are you picking based on the time of the year? Is it because you want to go in the summer, or do you like traveling when it's hurricane season and everyone's back in school? Who are you traveling with? Are you traveling with children? You definitely want a newer, more exciting ship that has all the slides and the escape rooms and all the things. Or are you traveling with adults and, you want a more chill vibe? So, we're going to find out and ask you who you're traveling with, know who you're traveling with and what they're looking for. A lot of people pick based on the ship. They could care less where it's going. Everybody loves a new ship. It's exciting. There's so much to do. So tell me, what motivates you? How do you pick the right cruise for you? Comment down below. I would love to hear. And I would love to know what cruise you've been on and where it went and how it went. So there has been a lot of negative press about cruising. And I've just got to tell you that after 35 years of cruising, I have never been on a poop cruise. I have never had sewage backup. I have never had a power loss on a cruise. I have never been on a cruise where there's a man overboard. There has never been a fight on any of my cruises. The worst thing that's happened is an alpha, which is a medical emergency. So they are giving someone medical attention. We've never had an Oscar, which is man overboard. But I will tell you that I did have an interesting episode on last year's cruise, which was kind of interesting because it was a cruise that I have repeated many times year after year. It was about my fifth time on this particular ship, and we loved it so much we just did it every year. And I think for me, it was not only the ship was new, but the itinerary. I loved going to Grand Turk. Beautiful port. If you haven't done it, try it. The water is gorgeous. So we are on the second to last night before the cruise ends, and we're in our cabin, sound asleep. At 1:30 in the morning, they start blaring the horn, for everyone to go to their lifeboat, their muster station. So my travel partner goes out into the hallway. I go out onto the balcony, and everybody's shining their flashlights and everybody's looking, thinking, man overboard, but they're not saying anything in the announcement. But it is the short blasts that tell you it's the lifeboat muster station that you have to report. So when my travel partner's out in the hallway, he sees people running down the hallway. They're now pushing their luggage. They're going. They're leaving. P.S. You can't take your luggage, so I'll tell you what I did next. So we come back together into the room and we decide we gotta go. And I was a little shocked that I was like, are we really doing this? Are we really reporting to our muster station? I'm telling you, in 35 years, this has never happened. So while I'm getting dressed, my travel partner's in the hallway still trying to find out what's going on. And I put together what I call now a go bag. My go bag is my legal documents, my car keys, my money, and my jewelry. And now it sits in a little travel case that if something happens, I'm just going to grab it and go, because people, you can't take your suitcases, okay? So, of course, you don't want to take an elevator at this point because God knows what could happen in the elevator. So we go down a couple of flights and we're now at guest services. And we see the crew members running with their life jackets to their assigned muster stations. We couldn't remember where our muster station was. I mean, I knew the number because it was on my card, but I couldn't remember. Was it in a lobby? Was it in a restaurant? Was it in a venue? I just couldn't remember. So pay attention not only to the number, but to the location. And so we start walking towards where we think our muster station is, and people are just standing around. They're getting pizza, they're getting some sandwiches. It's a lifeboat drill, people. I mean, it's not a drill at this point, I'm guessing. So 20 minutes of that, the cruise director comes on and he says, we're so sorry. There was a electrical situation where we couldn't get the horn to go off and we couldn't make an announcement, but everything's okay. This has never happened before. Just go back to whatever you were doing and enjoy the rest of your night. Okay, I had my eyes wide open and I was sleeping in my clothes because I really just couldn't enjoy the rest of my night. I mean, I fell asleep eventually. So the next morning, we head down to the coffee shop, and I had gotten chatty with the barista over the week. And I said to her, my gosh, that was so scary last night. Were you in your cabin when that happened? And she goes, oh, don't worry. That happened last week. It was the daytime. And so, you know, it wasn't as scary, but yeah, you don't have to worry. So I guess it never happened before. Okay, it happens, but I think they just say that because they don't want to alarm you. So yeah, just be prepared for anything. And the second story I got to tell you is my first cruise, which I'm sure the ship has been to the shipwreck yard, you know, where they take it apart and sell it for parts. That was back in 90 or 91. And I think it was the Fantasy. And what happened was I was not on there as a cruise passenger. I was there at a work trip, and a friend of mine had just started for Carnival and was becoming familiar with the ship. So it was basically a cruise to nowhere, and I hated it. I was bored. I didn't want to eat by myself. I didn't want to go to the casino. Oh my gosh, I ate and I was like, wow, there's a lot of food. It's really good. And then I hit the casino, and that just started a whole little, slot thing for me. So I came off that ship and I said, well, that was interesting, but I don't really think that's for me. Well, let's fast forward a year. And I'm watching a channel on TV that's all about traveling and this and that. And they showed a cruise. And I said, maybe I'll try that again. So I called in, I made a reservation, booked the cruise, really put no thought into it. Okay, so it was like two blind mice. We hadn't been told what to expect. We didn't know what the ship offered. We didn't know anything about the ship. We didn't know anything about the ports. This is where your travel advisor comes in. They are going to tell you all the things you can do, what excursions to go on, what the ship has to offer. Instead of wandering around like two blind mice going, oh, we missed this show, and oh, we missed doing that, and oh, yeah. A travel advisor can help you. And if you don't use a travel advisor, at least do some research on your own. So it has definitely been a cruise journey for me. I absolutely love it. I think it's the best all-inclusive type vacation that you can take. And if I can help you find the right cruise for you, I would love to help you with that. And if you just have questions about anything or you want to make some comments, please, I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching Diaz on Deck Travel, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Remember, I'll see you on deck.